Hey guys, this is me, Kevin Murphy, on my channel called Narcissistic Abuse Learning Who I Am Again. In this video, I want to talk about narcissistic isolation, how the narcissist will use isolation to isolate their victims or other survivors. So as survivors, we have experience isolation from the narcissist. And normally when the narcissist will use isolation, they will guise it as a way of, oh, I'm concerned about you, or I love you so much, and I want you all to myself. And so the isolation is a way of controlling the victim. It's a way of trying to keep other people from really speaking to the survivor about what the narcissist is doing. So 9 times out of 10, the narcissist knows that they've been found out. They've been their shit has been been put on center stage, and they don't want the person who has found out about them speaking into the victim's head. So ways that the narcissist will try to isolate their victims. Let's say, for example, the narcissist will start saying that, oh, Jimmy is talking about you, or Jimmy doesn't like you very much, or Jimmy will never defend you, or Jimmy has is not, doesn't consider you a good friend or anything like that. And so what happens is, if the survivor continuously hears this over time, over and over and over again from that narcissist, they're going to start to believe that Jimmy doesn't like them, Jimmy doesn't care about them, Jimmy doesn't feel any kind of care for them. And this is a way to groom the victim to believing that nobody loves them but the narcissist. There's going to be times where you're going to hear your narcissist say, nobody loves you the way that I do. Nobody cares about you the way that I do. And through the victim, and especially if that narcissist is like a pivotal person in their life, they're going to believe that narcissist over anybody else. That narcissist words, affirmation, validation is going to mean more to them than anybody else. So the narcissist will try to get you to sabotage your friendships. So if a friend makes a mistake, but for example, we all get busy, and sometimes, like with text messages, with phone calls, we tend to forget to return phone calls, or we forget to return text messages right away. And as a narcissistic victim or survivor, we will tend to, especially if that narcissist is in our head, we will tend to draw our own conclusions if we're not careful, and we'll start to think that, oh, Susan doesn't want to be our friend anymore, or Robert doesn't want anything to do with us, especially if we are running these things by the narcissist. If we're telling the narcissist that, oh, Susan didn't get back to me right away, or Susan is making plans to do something else with somebody else, we will start to run these scenarios by the narcissist, and the narcissist will tell us that, oh, that's because Susan doesn't want to be bothered with you. That's because Susan doesn't want a friendship with you anymore, anything like that. And so we start to listen to what the narcissist is saying about these people, and these people can be really good friends of ours. We probably have friendship in correspondence with them for many, many, many years, probably tighter than tight. But that narcissist hates this, and that narcissist will see that as an opportunity to separate you from that friendship. So if you found yourself no longer talking to a cousin that you were really good friends with, or a best friend, or anybody, a good family member, because that narcissist has told you lies about that person, then 9 times out of 10 you were manipulated to believe lies about that friend. Not because the narcissist wants what's best for you. The narcissist wants you to be alone, so that way they can have easy access to you as a target, so they can have easy access to continue to abuse you and control you and to manipulate you. This narcissist does not want what's best for you. They do not want you to be with anybody else but them. And A person who truly has your best interest will want you to have friends, to have other people around you besides them. A person who's secure in who they are, in who they are, which the narcissist is not, they'll want you to have experiences and have fun with other people, and to experience different experiences with other people in your life. But that narcissist wants to be your number one, so that way they can continue to control you, so they can get gratification from you in ways that's sick, in ways that will only make you feel bad about yourself. So when the narcissist tells you that, oh, I love you, and that's why I got to keep everybody away from you, I got to keep you away from your family, I got to keep you away from your friends, I got to keep you away from from your coworkers, or you don't have to work anymore, I will take care of you. That narcissist is trying to get you to depend solely on them for supply purposes. Like, they're trying to groom you to be their ultimate form of narcissistic supply. And don't fall for this. If you are in a new relationship with a narcissist, or you have a narcissistic parent that is trying to isolate you, look for signs. That person will talk really poorly about your friends. They will talk poorly about certain people in your life, certain family members in your life. They will say that things like, oh, so-and-so doesn't like you, and there's no real cause of the fact that they're saying these things. They'll say things like, I just pick it up, or I just feel in my gut that this person's no good for you, good for you. They don't have any hardcore evidence that this person's no good for you. They just say things like, they're very vague and very generic about their observations of this person. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, know that that's a red flag, and know that a real healthy person will never try to isolate you from someone else, especially if that person has been a good friend to you, has been respectful to you. In life, we will make mistakes in our relationships. We're not going to always be available to our friendships. We're not going to always be available to respond to a text message right away, or return a phone call right away. That does not mean that you need to discard your friends. It doesn't mean that you need to 86 them, or listen to the narcissist when they tell you that they don't care about you. People, are flawed. We make mistakes. We do things that are that we don't mean to do to other people. But the narcissist will try to turn you against people who have been there for you for many, many years, and you find yourself alone and not have any friends. And that's what the narcissist wants. Don't give them that satisfaction. So this is a quick video on narcissistic isolation. I will probably make a part 2 on narcissistic isolation within the next couple of days, but this is a very common tactic that narcissistic abusers will use against their victims and their targets, and this is not a way that they care about you. This is a way to try to isolate you and to be their ultimate source of supply. So please stay tuned for more videos. My name is Kevin Murphy, and thank you for watching. Bye.